Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we'll be cutting this beautiful corset dress with yoke, and I'll be showing you the most simplest method of cutting a corset dress. If you're interested in this video, please watch to the end, like and share, and subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment in this comment section if you have any question. I upload once every week, mostly on Sunday, so turn on your notification bell to know whenever a new video is up. So let's get started. So these are the materials we will need for this project. So we will need beaded nets, okay? You need Duchess material as well, your bra cup, your scissors, your tape rule, then your client's measurements. For my beaded nets is 3 yards. My client's measurement, bust measurement is bust 46, while our hip is hip 52. So the beaded net is 3 yards, while the Duchess is 2 yards. So you buy the fabric according to your client's measurement. All right, we'll be drafting on a pattern paper. We are not drafting directly on the clothes. I'll first of all draft on the pattern paper, then I will not transfer it. I'll now cut it out on the clothes. So let's start drafting. So guys, as you can see, I've marked out the points already. So this is my starting point line, okay? Then the bust point line, which is 11 inches from the shoulder, the under bust line, which is 15 inches, then the waistline 18 inches, then the hip line 27 inches, okay? Our shoulder measurement is 17 inches divided by 2, we have 8.5. Then we'll add half an inch to it, so in allowance will give us 9 inches. So on the shoulder line we'll mark 9 inches, okay? Then for the neck width, our neck width is 3.5, so 3 inches rather. Then from this shoulder point we'll come down by 1 inch, so you mark 1 inch there. All right, then you join the neck point, this point to this point, you join the 2 points together. All right, so for the armhole depth, you divide the bust measurement by 6. Whatever you get, you add 1.5 to it, okay? So for my client now, our bust measurement is 45 divided by 6 plus 1.5 gives 9 inches. All right, so from after this 1 inch point now, I measured from that point, I measured the 9 inches there, okay? Then I'll measure the 9 inches for the shoulder measurement also. I marked it there on that point. Then I joined the 2 points together like that. All right, okay, then I extend this armhole line, I extend it outward like this. All right, so now we'll find the midpoint of the armhole depth. The 9 divided by 2 will give us 4.5, so you mark 4.5 right there. Then on that point you go in by half an inch, okay? That's the half an inch. Then you join that point to the shoulder point there with a straight line. So the next thing is we'll calculate the bust measurement. The bust divided by 4, 45 divided by 4 will give us 11.2, okay? So that 11.2, now we will mark it on that chest line there. This line, we are going to mark 11.2 on the line. So that's the 11.2 mark. Then we'll join this point to the other points up here. This point here, we'll join the 2 points together to form our armhole cuff. So for the under bust measurement, our under bust measurement is 42. 42 divided by 4 will give us 10.5. So we are going to mark 10.5 on the under bust line. Okay, that's the 10.5. Then our waist measurement rather is 45. So 45 divided by 4 will give us 11.2. Then we'll mark 11.2 there. Then our hip measurement is 52 divided by 4 will have 13. So we'll mark 13 on the hip measurement as well, on the hip line rather. We'll mark 13 there. All right, that is it. So on this bust point line, okay, you come in by half an inch. You mark half an inch on that point, then you go down as well and mark half an inch. Then you join the 2 points together like that. So depending on the depth of the sweetheart neck you want, okay, so for my clients, I'll be going down by 1 inch. I marked 1 inch on that point there. So if you want it deeper than that, you can go by 2 inches or 1.5. So the next thing you do is take your bra cup and place it there on that point. Make sure the bra cup sits on the bust line. Okay, I hope you guys are seeing it now. Like that. Make sure your bra cup sits well on the, like that. Make sure it's sitting well on the bust line like that. You position your bra cup in such a way that it sits well. And why I'm curving it this way, that I'm not making it straight, is because I don't want the cleavage to be too opened. So the next thing you're going to do is you take your pen and you trace out the bra cup. All right, you have to trace out the bra cup, and you have to secure the bra cup down in such a way that it's not moving. All right, because if it moves, you will miss out the point. Okay, so the next thing is, where the bra cup ends on this side, you draw a straight line to mark that point on that point. All right, so the next thing we'll be doing is we'll trace out the upper part of the bra cup. Please don't press it down too much, guys. Okay, don't press it down too much because it's going to have a yoke. So we have to trace out the upper part like this. So now this is our yoke and this is the bra cup. This is how it's looking like right now. Now for the neck measurement, okay, we'll measure 3 inches downward. All right, then you draw a semicircle to shape out the neckline like this. So the next thing we'll be doing now is to join all our horizontal measurements, to join all the points together like this. All right, and the next thing we'll do is we'll take our sewing allowance, which is 1.5 inches. We'll measure 1.5 inches all through. All right, for the side seam allowance. So there's one thing I want you guys to know. You know, it's a long dress. For my clients, it's below the knee length. Okay, and you know our pattern paper here stops on the hip. The measurement we have here, it stops on the hip line, but I'm going to measure half an inch extra below the hip line. All right, that's where it's going to stop on my pattern paper. But when I'm drafting it out on my fabric, I will extend it to my client desired length. Okay, also do not forget to join the point of your sewing allowance. All right, to join the point together. So the next thing we'll be doing is we'll come to this point here and extend that line to our armhole cuff area, that point, before we now start cutting out the armhole curve. All right, this point here. Then guys, do not forget, see this bra cup area that we measured. Okay, you measure half an inch all through, like the way I'm doing it. You are going to measure half an inch from that point to where that bra cup stops out on this side. Okay, like this. All right, till you get to this point. then you join the points together. So this is it, guys. Then the mark there, you extend it inward as well. And by the time we are cutting, guys, by the time you are going to draft out your yoke on your fabric, you add 1 inch to your yoke on your fabric. You make sure you add 1 inch to it. And as you notice here, I'm not cutting the previous line, I'm cutting on the new line of the bra cup. Okay, do not make that mistake. All right, guys. And we are done cutting out the bra cup. The next thing, I'm going to cut out that bra cup away from our yoke. I'm going to cut it off from the yoke. Okay, sorry guys, I thought I positioned it well while I was cutting it. I didn't know. So this is what we have. Then I'm going to cut out the shoulder measurement and also the neck area. I'm going to trace them all out as well. Okay, so this is what we have for the yoke. Okay, then the next thing is we'll cut out the remaining part. All right, then after this, I'll take it to my fabric and cut it out as well. And we are done. Okay, it is very simple, easy to cut, which not too much stress. All right, so see the way I position the yoke and the main pattern, and see the bra cup on it. It is easy. And guys, do not forget to add 1 inch to your yoke, to the main fabric if you're cutting it. All right, when you're cutting it. Okay, so it is very simple. Once you follow this process and be patient, you will get it. We don't even need to put dots or anything. Okay, and the next thing I'll be doing is I'm going to be drafting the pattern for the bra cup. So for the bra cup now, the width is 16 inches, right? The length also is 16 inches, but for the width I already have it on fold, so that's 8 inches. All right, then that length also be 16 inches. Okay, the next thing is to fold it again. All right, like that, as if you want to cut a flare. All right, that is how you're going to fold the pattern paper. Then we'll now measure 8 inches all round. Okay, as if we are cutting a flare. So guys, you measure 8 inches like that. Then you continue. So like that. Okay, so after that, we're going to cut it out. Okay, then you open it up. So the next thing we'll do is we'll come to this point here. From this point downward, we'll measure 1 inch. We'll mark that point. Then we'll come to this other side as well. Then we'll mark the same 1 inch as well. Then we join the point to the midpoint there. All right, and the other side also to the midpoint. So we just use our hand to connect the points together like that. Just make sure that it's not pointed. Okay, then after that, we'll cut it out. All right, so this is what we are going to use to cut out the fabric we need to cover the bra cup. Okay, so you cut out the fabric to cover the bra cup and the lining as well. So after we are done cutting it out, you sew 1/2 inch all through like that. Then you give it a good press, then use it to cover your bra cup. Same goes to the lining as well. All right, So guys, as you can see, I've marked out my bra cup because I'm going to place it vertically like that, and if it's horizontally you want to place it, I've marked it out as well. You just fold it and mark the midpoint. Okay, all right. So guys, this midpoint here is going to be on the midpoint of my bra cup. Okay, then when you are covering the bra cup, make sure you secure it down with a pin and cover it very well. All right. Okay, the next thing we'll be doing now is to cut the back panel. So for the back, we'll not be drafting on pattern paper, we'll be drafting directly on the fabric. Okay, and as you can see, I've marked out some points already, and this is my starting point line. As you can see there, that's my starting point line, and my customer gown length is 47.5. So from the starting point line, I measured 47.5 and marked it at the down part as well. So this point is my zipper allowance, okay, which is 1.5 inches width. All right, then I marked it from the starting point line to where the gown stops at. All right, then for the neck width is 3 inches. If you can remember, the neck width for the front panel is 3 inches as well. Okay, then for my client's shoulder measurement, our shoulder measurement is 9 inches. Okay, so we measured 9 inches from that point here. As you can see, from that point to this point is 9 inches. Okay, so on this 9 inches point, I come down by 1 inch. Like we did for the front panel, I come down by 1 inch. Then I join that point to the neck width point there. So just join the 2 points together like so. All right, then remember, for the armhole depth for the front panel, it's the bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5. That's the calculation for the armhole depth. Okay, so now my client bust measurement is 45 inches. All right, divided by 6 plus 1.5 will give us 9 inches. So from this point here, I measured 9 inches. All right, so I marked 9 inches there. Then you draw the line outward like that. Okay, then you measured 9 inches for the shoulder measurement on that point as well. Then you join the 2 points together like so. All right, then you find the midpoint of the 9 inches, which is 4.5. You mark that point there, the 4.5 points. Then you measure 1/2 an inch inward. You mark it like that, then connect it to the shoulder point there. All right, then the bust measurement is 45 divided by 4 will give us 11.2. okay, it will give us 11.2. so we'll mark 11.2 on the armhole line there. Okay, like that, you mark it there. All right, so my client's half length is 19. Okay, so I've marked 19 on that point, and our hip length is 27, so I've marked it on that point as well. So for the round measurement for the waist is 45 inches, so divided by 4 we have 11.2, same as the bust measurement, while our hip measurement is 52. 52 divided by 4 will give us 13 inches, so we have to mark 13 inches. So the next thing we'll do is to connect the points together like so. So for the down part, you have to remove 2 inches from the hip measurement. All right, so you remove 2 inches from 13, so we'll have 11 inches. So you will mark 11 inches at the base of the dress, okay? So before you now join that point to the hip measurement like this, okay? So now we'll measure our sewing allowance, which is 1.5. So we'll mark 1.5 all through from the armhole area to the base of the dress, okay? And connect the point. All right, so we'll come up here and connect this point to the other point here to form the armhole curve. All right, then we'll measure the point. We'll measure the armhole curve like so. So what we have here is 12.5. So the armhole is same as what we have for the front panel as well. So by the time you sew 1.5 inch here and half an inch up there, all right, we'll be left with 10 inches around. Then we'll come to the neck area here. We'll measure half an inch downward. Then we'll join it to the neck, to the shoulder area like this, okay? Remember guys, it's not 1 inch, it's half an inch because it has a bishop collar. All right, so the next thing we'll do now is to start cutting it out. But before then, there's something I always do on the waist line. If a dress doesn't have a half cut, okay, so to avoid the zip bulging out, all right, so I'll come to the waist area, then I'll mark half an inch inward around that zipper area, mark half an inch inward. Then I'll join this point to the neck area like so. Like this. Then I will do the same thing also down to the hip area as well, like that. Then I will cut it out. So with this that I'm doing, it will help the zip to lay flat on the back, okay? All right, then we'll now have a new zipper allowance. All right, so from there we'll measure 1.5 inch inward like so. Then we'll join this point, we'll connect the point to the neck area. So this will be our new zipper allowance. Then same thing goes for the down part as well. We'll connect it like that. All right, so these are new zipper allowance. So the next thing we'll do now is to cut out the sleeve. All right, as you can see, I've done some markings already. So this here is my starting point, okay? This is my starting point, and the length for the sleeve is 24.5. Our sleeve length is 24. Then we need half an inch to join the sleeve to the main body. All right, so from the starting point line to this point, I have 5.5. I marked 5.5 there. All right, then this line is 7.5, 10.5, 14.5, 18.5, and the rest. Okay, so on this 7.5 here, the round measurement, our round sleeve is 18 inches, and I won't be adding any allowance to a round sleeve because the net is stretchy. Okay, so I'll just cut out the exact round sleeve measurement, and by the time I'm joining it, I'm going to join it with 1 inch. All right guys, so what I have here is 9 inches on fold. Okay, so here now is 9 inches. I measured 9 inches here. Okay, here I measured 8.5 on the next one. Then this one is 8 inches. All right, then this one is 7.5. Then the tip of the sleeve is 6 inches. All right, so I measured 6 inches there. Then I joined the point together like so. So on this point here, after I measured the 5.5 inches, I joined this point to this other point here. Then I measured out the armhole measurement to check if it's the same thing as it is the same thing. Okay, and the next thing is we are going to cut the sleeve out. All right guys, and guys, we are done with the cutting. Okay, so this is the bra cup cover. All right, the two bra cup cover. Okay, this is the yoke. We have the yoke here. This is for the yoke. All right, then this is the sleeves. Okay, the two sleeves. So these are the two sleeves. All right, this is one of the back panels. Okay, this is the second back panel, and this is the front panel. All right, that we draft out on pattern paper. Okay, so let me try and arrange it so you guys can see how it is looking. This is how it's going to be at the end of the day by the time you are done sewing this dress. Okay, and this will be the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and like and share this video if you find it helpful, and do not forget to turn on your notification bell to be notified whenever a new video is up. Please guys, subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.